So, we've reached the main event of this season. The arc we've all been waiting for, the Siege of Mandalore, is here, and it is glorious. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. The front half, the first 2 episodes of this arc are perfect. I don't have any issues with them. I think they've been fantastic, and if the back half is anything like this, it'll be the best Clone Wars arc we've ever gotten. This arc feels very, very different from the first 2 we've got of this final season, so what I feel like happened is that when Disney got the green light to do this last season, I feel like the first 2 arcs were mostly finished and they kind of just went back, they reanimated some stuff, they added some stuff in there. But this was the main one that they started from scratch, and they put a lot of effort here to create a satisfying finish to the Clone Wars. And so far, they are not letting us down. It just feels different in the sense of the scale, the music, and just we're getting a lot more like beautiful shots, if that makes sense. I know it's an animation, so they're not real shots, but like it just looks more epic, if that makes sense. Right from the first minute of the first episode of this arc, we see a couple of Jedi on their planets where they got slaughtered during Order 66. So we know that we're close. And we also see a quick little snippet of Grievous attacking Coruscant. So we know that we're about to hit where Revenge of the Sith starts. We get an awesome opening with Obi-Wan and Anakin. The banter between them is like really good. And again, one of the show's strengths is enhancing their relationship between them because they really don't spend a whole lot of time together in the prequel trilogy. So to get more of that in the show is definitely a good thing. And their banter is awesome. Anakin's plan's awesome. The way he just so nonchalantly, he walks up to Obi-Wan and he says, there's only 1,000 droids over there. Like, what are you doing? He says 1,000 like it's nothing, like he could just boop and it's gone. But anyways, they make quick work of that, and then they're summoned to respond to a very urgent message. And that message is from Ahsoka. So basically, Ahsoka shows up with Bo-Katan, and she's like, listen, we have Maul, we have to go get him. And Obi-Wan is hesitant because, they're not done the war that they started, or that they're in right now. And Anakin says, well, what's one more? And then obviously Ahsoka wants to help because she feels like the people on Mandalore need it. And then one of my favorite lines in this whole episode was when, Bo-Katan's talking about how Maul killed Satine. And she says to Obi-Wan, like, I thought she meant something to you. And Obi-Wan says she did, and she still does, but I can't let my personal feelings cloud my judgment. And the camera cuts to Anakin, and he kind of like gives a side glance. And obviously that's because Anakin does let his personal feelings cloud his judgment, and that was on purpose. And that's the clear difference between Obi-Wan and Anakin. So I liked that moment. So they're gonna ask the council if that's okay, because if the Republic aids the Mandalorians, then it would break a bunch of old treaties mumbo jumbo. And then the war horn goes off and Obi-Wan comes rushing in and is like, we need to go. Grievous is attacking the capital. And Ahsoka's like, so that's it? Like, you're just gonna leave the people on Mandalore to die? And Obi-Wan's like, well, this is important. Like, we can't just ignore this. And Ahsoka's like, yeah, I mean, you're right, but you're playing politics as usual. Obi-Wan's like, well, that's not fair. And Ahsoka's like, well, I'm not trying to be. But I like that little interaction. It shows the difference of philosophy between your typical Jedi and one who sees it from a different perspective in Ahsoka. But Anakin and Obi-Wan, they decide to split up the clone forces they have. Half goes with Ahsoka, half goes with them. And we finally get the last interaction between Anakin and Ahsoka. It was quick, it was pretty brief, but it was emotional and it was effective. They talk a little bit. He gives her lightsabers, and then as he's walking out, she says, "Good luck." And she gives him a little look. And that's it. They're not going to see each other again until they eventually meet in Rebels when he's Vader. Then we get an awesome, awesome sequence of the Republic and Ahsoka and Bo-Katan's forces storming Mandalore and reaching the surface. The action was awesome. The music was fantastic. They actually use a musical cue that's from the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are booling around in the ships going to rescue the Chancellor. It's the same music, and that's to indicate that the events are happening at the same time. But yeah, so the first episode ends with Maul saying, "Why are you here? I was hoping for Kenobi." And then this morning's episode picks up exactly where the last one left off. Maul's spilling a lot of beans here. He knows everything. He's had a couple of visions, and obviously as Palpatine's former apprentice, he knows stuff. He says stuff like, "The moment may be upon us," referring to Order 66. He mentions Darth Sidious to her, and he says that he's been orchestrating the Clone Wars from the beginning. So they have a quick little battle. Maul escapes. Ahsoka starts talking to Obi-Wan on a hologram. And this is really, really cool because this happened right before Obi-Wan went to go fight Grievous. So this is in the middle of Revenge of the Sith that this happened. Awesome stuff. I love that. But Ahsoka talks to him alone and is like, hey, like, who is this Darth Sidious guy? Like, what's going on here? And Obi-Wan says, yeah, like, Dooku said the same thing, but now I'm not going to be able to find out anymore from Dooku because he's dead. Anakin killed him. And Ahsoka's like, what? Obi-Wan proceeds to tell her about Anakin, you know, his mission being to spy on the Chancellor. And Ahsoka immediately knows, like, they're friends. Like, he can't be happy about that. And Obi-Wan's like, well, you're right, like, he's not happy. And then she's like, okay, like, I want to talk to him. And obviously they're not going to before Order 66 happens, but it's really heartbreaking to know that, you know, a call with Ahsoka could have saved Anakin's turn to the dark side. But anyways, that conversation's cut short because the battle's happening outside. They go to the throne room and Maul is sitting right there. Rex and Katan leave Ahsoka and Maul to talk it out and eventually duel. And this conversation, I mean, Maul is so poetic in this episode. I think this episode is the best that Maul's ever been in the entire show. I loved every second. Everything he said was so powerful. And Maul had forced it out of one of the clones what happened to Ahsoka. And he realizes, like, we're not so different. Like, we were both tools that were manipulated by higher powers. But you and me can form an alliance here, and we can take down Darth Sidious together. I can get revenge on my master, and you can stop him from creating the Empire. And he reveals his original plan was to lure Obi-Wan and Anakin to Mandalore so that he could kill them both. Kill Obi-Wan for revenge and to kill Anakin as a way to deprive Sidious as his prized pupil. And Ahsoka thinks about it for a long time. And she says yes. She says yes at first. And then she says, but why do you want Anakin so bad? And then Maul says, like, I want to kill him. And Ahsoka says, nope. Like, I know him. Not gonna happen. She whips out his lightsabers. We get an awesome lightsaber duel. It's one of the best in the whole show. The animation on the lightsaber duel is amazing. It looks much more fluid. I like normal Clone Wars lightsaber duels, but some of them feel pretty robotic in the way that they move. And it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of weight behind the swings, if that makes sense. But this one, shots linger for a lot longer, and the movements just look more fluid and less robotic. And it makes it feel more intense to me. Yeah, basically, the episode ends with Maul getting captured. He originally just wants to die. And I think it's very clear that he's afraid that going with the clones leads him back to Sidious, or, you know, him being part of Sidious's plan. Because at this point, you know, he does want to kill him, but he also just wants to survive and thrive in the chaos that's about to happen. And he's afraid that going directly to him is going to mess all of that up. We've reached the end here, and next week, Order 66 is going to happen. And it's going to rip my heart out. I'm interested to see how Rex gets his inhibitor chip out. I assume that they're going to be heading back to Coruscant or wherever. You know, they're going to be on a starship, and then that's when Order 66 is going to happen. And they're going to be stuck there with Maul, and I just can't wait. A week is going to absolutely kill me to have to sit through this. But anyways, I think this arc has been absolutely perfect so far. I've been enjoying the hell out of it, and I can't wait to have 2 full long episodes on Order 66. So yeah, what did you guys think? Comment below, let me know. Are you enjoying the last arc of the Clone Wars? As always, like and subscribe, and yeah.